me, my name is Josh, and in this video we are going to be looking at 7 things that you, as language educators, should bear in mind if you are teaching online. If you're not a language educator, and you're just teaching, well, not just, if you are teaching a different subject, then please stay, because these 7 tips are also applicable to you. Now, with that said, let's begin. Number 1, you've got to know your technology. And of course, you're thinking, yeah, Josh, I know that. When I say know your technology, I mean really know your technology. Know all of its functions. Know how to install it. Know how to help your students install it. Know how to navigate it. Know how to explain to your students how to navigate it. Okay? Know how much bandwidth it's taking. Know how long it takes to load up. If you don't know all of those things, then you don't know your technology. The next point on that one is this. I want to ask you a question. How many of you educators out there have actually taken the time to learn something online? You're not the teacher anymore. You are the student. You're navigating new technologies. You're navigating new websites. You're installing new applications. How many of you actually done it? If you haven't done it, then you don't know technology, because you've only got your perspective here, the teacher's perspective. You need to get the learner's perspective. How easy is it? What I'm presenting and the way I'm doing it, I might have one perspective, that it's great, that it's awesome, that it's working. The student may not have the same perspective. So, get out there, be a student, and that's going to help you understand technology and how it's used a little bit better. Moving on! We're going to encourage you, well, I'm going to encourage you to enhance or increase your energy and get your students to decrease their distractions. Because when we're teaching online, whether we're doing a podcast, whether we're recording a video, whether you're doing a webcam lesson, your energy is your emotion. That's what students can feel. Because you're not in the same location, there's no energy in the room. Okay, there's no buzz, there's no atmosphere. You have to bring that and just up your energy a little so the students can feed off your energy. If you're passionate, you've got a better chance of getting them involved. And also, get your students to get rid of their distractions. Put the phone away. You don't need it. Okay? You need to be focused here and learning here so we can build a nice community of learners engaging together. So, energy up, distractions down. The next one. You probably all do this, but you may not think about it as much as you should, because to me, this is the most crucial thing. We have to manage the distance with our students. Okay, now of course not the physical distance. They could be in a different country. I'm talking about the connection, the emotional connection between the educator, the teacher, and the students, and the students and the students. Okay? As soon as we use technology, which is the way of life at the moment, okay, as soon as we're doing technology-facilitated learning, this increases the emotional distance, okay? Me listening to a podcast is very different to me in person with a teacher telling me the same thing, okay? The distance is there. The activities you use in your classes will also add or decrease that distance. Let me give you an example. You've got a reading activity to do. You've got 2 options here. The students can press play and listen to someone read, and then they read. Or, if you're doing a face-to-face webcam lesson, why have your students push that button and then you just sit there? Why not read it to them? You're decreasing that distance. Okay? The structure comes down and your emotional connection and connection with each other goes up. Okay? So, the more you can manage this, sometimes students need to study alone. They need to do flipped learning, learn before they come to the class. But manage the structure and the distance. Very important. Okay? So every activity you're doing, think, how can I get it more engaging and how can I add a personal touch so my students feel like I care? Okay? Manage that distance. The next one. I love this one. This one is key. More technology does not equal more learning. Don't overdo your lessons with too much technology, okay? If you've got an LMS and have got all these things to do, okay, don't bring in 5 new websites and 2 new applications to one lesson. It's too much, okay? It's cognitive overload. Not only are they trying to learn what you're trying to teach, they're also trying to learn a new technology, a new website, how to navigate it and how to find it. And okay, so if you're going to bring in new applications and new technologies, easy does it. Don't dump everything. Okay, make sure you spend time teaching your students how to use the technology, which means you have to be the master first, which goes back to point 1. Know your technology. Know how to use it appropriately. More technology is not more learning. You want to make purposeful choices. 1 or 2 technologies per class. Okay? More than that, well, it's kind of a little bit more, it's a bit more of a gimmick, isn't it? It's not meant to be a gimmick. It's meant to be there for learning. Okay? So, more technology is not more learning, although without technology at the moment, there will be no learning. So, use the technology wisely for better results. The next one. We're going old school and new school. New school. Technology facilitated, technology enhanced learning. We've got so many great tools out there which if we use them correctly, and it goes back to knowing your technology, managing the distance, if you use these technologies correctly and limit them to each class at 1 or 2, maybe 3, then we can get great results. But remember, old school still works. If you're teaching a language, okay, have people read out loud. Pen and paper, write new vocabulary down, hold it up to the screen so people can see it. Okay, just typing everything and being too connected, we know the more senses and the more engagement, the more learning. So don't forget old school, speaking out loud, having conversations with each other, pen and paper, writing things down. And if you can, have your students have the textbook there. They can write in the textbook or print out the PDF lessons, okay? Old school, it still works, okay? Don't get caught up with technology. It's great for many things. It's not great for everything. The next one, we're almost there. Clarity of instruction. If the students are studying mainly alone, then the instructions that they're following on your website or your school's website must be very clear. Or there must be a forum where clarification can be given. In class, if you're doing Zoom or something like that, instructions are very important because if you go to a breakout room, people are confused. It's very hard to jump into each room. It takes too much time. Use the broadcast message. Maybe that will help. The other thing about this, when you're giving instructions, get people to react. Okay, did you understand, etc.? Checking they understood and getting them to tell you what they think you meant. You can use reactions, thumbs up or nod, okay? Make sure you're gauging if your students are understanding, if it's a webcam mediated lesson. Clear instructions, check for comprehension. And finally, I'm going to say finally, yes, finally, pedagogy matters. When we're teaching online, don't throw away the rule book and learning theory about education and how we learn most effectively. We need to manage cognitive load. We need to manage our schema. So we're using our background knowledge. We need to build up and use scaffolding, okay, by maybe introducing the vocabulary, etc. Don't just throw the rules out. The pedagogy and the rules for online learning is really no different to in-class learning. A few of the activities will change, but the theory remains the same. Scaffold, prior knowledge, build old knowledge onto new knowledge, okay? Drilling, this sort of thing. We need to be doing it in class. Don't just make it a gimmick and bring in all new technologies. That is not what online learning is. Make sure you have a sound approach. Make sure you're applying that approach. Okay? So that's it. There you have it. The 7 things to keep in mind if you are teaching online. Know your technology. Dial up your energy and bring down the distractions. Manage the connection with your students and the relationship between students and students. Okay? A little bit harder online, but you can do it by structuring those activities to be more focused on the learners. Make sure you are experienced as a learner as well as a teacher. More technology does not equal more learning. Old school plus new school. Clear instructions, engaging student reactions by telling them to give you a thumbs up or nod if they understand or raise their hand if they have a question. Clear instructions online, very important. And stick to research-supported learning approaches and strategies. Okay, that's it. Great job. I hope you learned something. Tell your friends. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video where I will be discussing something else related to education. Bye.